What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. My name's Tim Williams. We're here to break down tonight's six-game MLB DraftKings slate. First things first, we got the A's taking on the Red Sox. 9 over under here. Red Sox favorited. You have Sean Manaea taking on Richards here. Manaea 8.8K. I actually do like his upside. This is a slate where we have a lot of question marks here at pitching. I think there's a lot of fine options, but there's no clear ace here, and we'll talk about it as we go through. But Manaea, 26% strikeout rate here, 4.9% walk rate. So he looks really good there. He's definitely hittable. The Red Sox are very talented. It seems like they've been slumping the last few days. And then on the other side, Richards at 8.2K. 21% strikeout rate, really not that bad. 10% walk rate kind of scares me there. Just probably not interested in Richards in this one. On the A side, as far as bats go, you want to find that power upside there. They're fifth in home runs. Canha 4-1, Olson, Chapman, Laureano. I think all of them are fine. I wouldn't stack them up. I think if I just needed a one-off and they happen to be there, I would go for it, but I'm not going out of my way to really get any A's bats. And then on the Red Sox side, it's the same thing. Martinez, 5.3K. I think that is somewhat of a value. Chavis, 2.6K. If he's in there, maybe he's leading off. Bogarts. It's just one of those things where if I land on one of these guys, I think it's fine. I think the most interest I have is in Sean Manaea. Next, we have the Yankees taking on the Rays. 8 over under here. Yankees favored it on the road. Tyon taking Hill. Tyon at 7.7K, I think is fine value. You know, he has a near 29% strikeout rate here. He doesn't really go very deep, maybe 5-6 innings here. The matchup's great. Rays first in the league in strikeouts. You know, they're very poor hitting right now. And then on the other side with Hill, 7.2K, you just don't know which version you're going to get. He's got a tough matchup here. As far as the bats go, I'm probably just taking a one-off here. I really like Judge at 4.7K because that gives you a really high value there, that his ceiling is high. Righties do look good against Hill, however. And then on the Rays side, I like the lefties here. There's only two I would go with. Meadows at 4K for value, and then Lau at 4.6K. Both will probably be very low owned. Tyon, I think, is going to be one of the pitching options that people are going to be rostering tonight. So maybe that one off on the Rays side will help you get some leverage there. Next, you have the Rangers taking on the Astros, 8.5 over under here. Fulton Newitz taking on Javier. Not really interested in Fulte against this Astros team. First in average, fourth in on-base percentage, 11th in home runs. They just don't strike out. Poor matchup for Fulte. And then on the Astro side, Javier, he's the top priced pitcher on this slate, but it does not mean he's the best option on this slate. His strikeout rate is through the roof, 30% there, but literally everything else does not profile well. So it's a somewhat tough matchup here. The strikeout to team ratio here looks good for Javier. Rangers are third overall in the league in strikeouts, but they can hit for average. They can take walks. They can hit home runs. So I really do love the left-handed bats for the Rangers. Just to get some leverage on Javier, I think he's going to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate. And we have a Coors game to talk about, right? So we're going to want some sort of leverage somewhere if you are playing the Reds bats today. But Calhoun at 3.4. Low at 4K. I love Gallo. You know his power upside. I love him at 4K. Dahl, just a cheap bat to punt to at 2.8K. He had a home run yesterday. And then on the Astros side, Fulte's bad against left-handed batters, that should say. Brantley and Alvarez, Tucker, all three of them I think are very fine options in this one. Next, we have the game of all games, the game that is probably going to have the most ownership here. The Reds finally take a trip to Coors Field and play the Rockies. Castillo taking on Chichi Gonzalez. No interest in Chichi here for sure. This guy can't strike guys out. He walks dudes. People hit off him. The Reds are one of the best offenses in baseball right now, and they don't even strike out all that much. So the Reds are clearly the best offensive option on this slate. It's going to be really tough to fade them, especially if you're playing 1 to 3 lineups here. Castillo, 6.2K, very cheap. He's not striking guys out. He is getting a lot of ground balls, but the ballpark does not favor him very well. I would say if you really need him as like a dart throw, it's going to be tough, and you're going to be looking at your phone every 5 minutes. I will probably pass on Castillo here, but I guess I could see why you'd want him. Reds bats, let's talk. Winker, 5-1, my favorite bat. Moustakas, 4-7. Love those two guys. Naquin, 4.3K. Love the lefties here. First, Castellanos at 6K is the top spend up for the Reds. And then Senzel looks to be very popular here at 4.7K. You can go with Suarez. You can keep going. The Reds, I think they're just going to be turning over this lineup here. They're probably going to get like 5 at bats each. So, and then on the Rocky side, I guess McMahon, Blackman, both in play, lefties here. But I know other people are going to be on the Rockies, so I might just find my value somewhere else. Next, we have the Marlins Diamondbacks, 8.5 over under here. Diamondbacks favorited. Rogers taking on Merrill Kelly. So here's the interesting thing. Rogers is the second highest priced pitcher on the slate. He started off the year. This kid is super talented. He's kind of fluttering a little bit, right? This seems to be a guy who really can't make it past the 5th, maybe 6th inning. 33% strikeout rate is probably the top on this slate. Looks good, right? However, the walk rate is high, 10%. The Diamondbacks, if you look on base percentage, they're 7th overall. They're kind of right in the middle of the pack as far as strikeouts go. They're just kind of a tough team offensively. So I don't think I'm going to get to Rogers. In fact, I think I might just take a one-off on the Diamondback side. And then Merrill Kelly, he doesn't do enough for me at that price. There's a lot of other options there that you can go to. You could just pay up, or pay down even. But there's a lot of good options there. Marlins bats, they profile well here against Kelly. I don't think I'm going to get to any sort of stack or whatever. Aguilar at 4.5K. He's been crushing the ball. He's the one guy I would look to. And then on the other side, on the Diamondbacks, Cabrera fine, 4.1K, 16% walk rate against lefties. So like we said, Rogers walks a lot of guys. You're going to want to find one of those guys who has power or has the ability to take walks and not strike out. So to me, it's Cabrera and it's Kelly. Kelly is probably my favorite option on the Diamondbacks. It's a clear spend up at catcher. I don't think anybody's going to do it. That's a way to separate you from the rest in Coors. So 33% walk rate versus lefties. I really like Kelly here. Last but not least, we have the Indians taking on the Mariners, 7.5 over under. Plesac taking on Gilbert. Gilbert just called up today. He actually looked phenomenal in the minors in 2019. Obviously didn't pitch last year because the minors didn't play, but he looks really good. He profiles well in this spot. He is going to be very chalky, and it's a situation where actually both of these pitchers are going to be very chalky. It's a situation where, do you want to take Indians bats when they're, not a very good hitting team, 29th in average, 28th in on-base percentage. They don't strike out that much. Do you want to take bats against Gilbert, or would you just roll with everybody and take Gilbert? He's minimum priced as a pitcher at 4K. He has massive K upside here. He's got 4 pitches to choose from. I think he's going to fool the Indians here. I was trying to build a lineup earlier, and I had Ramirez, Rosario, Hernandez, the 3 guys I would consider for the Indians, but it just wasn't looking good, especially with all that juicy, Reds bats and all those guys. So, and then on the other side, the Mariners, I like Seager as a one-off here, 4.5K. I know they're calling up Jared Kelenic, who is their top prospect. So he looks pretty interesting. Plesac is a fine pitcher. He can strike guys out. I think he's down to just under 20% strikeout rate so far this year. He's going to be a little too highly owned for my liking. I'd rather try to just get to like Manaea and cross my fingers, but that'll do it. My name's Tim. Thank you for watching. Like this video if this helped you in any way. Don't forget to subscribe here. We break down these games every day. I did a breakdown video this morning for the early slate, so we're going to continue. We're going to work at this grind. So best of luck to you today. Take it easy.